So, Call of Duty Next got announced yesterday as a part of the COD Champs Grand Final, and with that we learned a little bit about what is coming with the beta, and at a top-down level what Next will be and what it has in store for us. But today, I want to take a bit more time to set up the expectations here for the beta of Modern Warfare 2, what we can expect to see in the offering, how many maps, modes, weapons perhaps, levels, rewards, and all that we can be seeing here coming in the beta next month. Today we're breaking down all that you should expect based upon what we know officially and what has historically happened in the betas before. So as we go along, drop your thoughts below. What do you hope to see in this beta? Any particular weapon, map, mode, streak, whatever the case, feel free to drop your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 2. With everything coming over the course of the next few months here, leading up to launch, there's a lot to stay on top of. So if you guys would like to join us on the road to 500,000 subscribers, I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, let's take a look at Modern Warfare 2 and what we may be able to expect for the upcoming beta. So, Call of Duty Next. Detailed yesterday as an event that goes above and beyond just Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, this will be something that happens on the 15th of September, so just ahead of the beta by like 24 hours. So while we'll all get our hands on with the beta here shortly after that event, it'll also still be a bit of time before we see Warzone 2 out there in the wild, likely another 3 months or so, but that's being shown off, as is Warzone Mobile. So the event itself is pretty big and going to be more than just Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. Now, I came home today to a package from the Call of Duty team that included an invitation to said Next event, so of course we'll have the beta coming out shortly after and we'll get hands-on time with all of that, but we'll keep you covered with everything you need to know on the Warzone 2 side of things, as well as the Warzone Mobile side of things if you're interested in that, keeping you on top of content and coverage before Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer beta. So with that in mind, the event is going to be a streamed and recorded event, so make sure you follow my Twitch account, which I swear I got to get better at going live over there. It'll happen, I promise. But then my Twitter or Instagram as well to stay on top of everything as it goes down. And if you have anything you'd like to see covered in depth, feel free to tweet me or drop it in the comments whenever. But this next event kicks off really everything here that we'll see for the beta beyond. So after Next, what can we expect? Well, we know the beta kicks off on the 16th for PlayStation users first, just 24 hours after, maybe even less if they end up kicking it on early. The usual 2 weekends then end up following with the PlayStation beta and the crossplay beta to follow. But in terms of content, this is where the discussion turns to be a little bit more new. We covered the dates and everything yesterday, but it's detailed as the Modern Warfare 2 beta is set to feature a robust multiplayer experience going beyond the core 6v6 experience, with a variety of meticulously designed maps of various sizes and an equally impressive set of modes, progression experiences, and other aspects that will be more thoroughly revealed at Call of Duty Next. In addition, at Champs we revealed a fly-through of Marina Bay Grand Prix where combat occurs within the main infield of an urban race circuit, one of the 6v6 multiplayer maps confirmed for the beta, with a number of in-game rewards available for simply playing the beta and a host of other innovations and surprises. Expect an unparalleled intel drop at the next event. So that gives us some insight into what we may be able to expect in a sort of vague manner, but that also seems like they're talking it up quite a bit. So when we compare that, I think the best beta comparison we'll end up seeing is Infinity Ward's last beta, the Modern Warfare 2019 beta, because of course not only is it just a sequel to that game, but they're running things very similarly but on a slightly different timetable. The Modern Warfare 2019 beta had a couple of different maps: Azir Cave, day and night; Hackney Yard, day and night; Grasna Raid; Gunrunner; Karst River Quarry that was added in the second weekend of the beta when it went to open beta, so the last couple of days; and then Gunfight was added in the final day of weekend 1 with 3 maps of King, Pine, and Stack, stuff that we already saw from the alpha for Modern Warfare 2019. It also had game modes of TDM, Domination, Headquarters, Cyber Attack, NVG, 10v10, Gunfight, 32v32, Ground War on Karst River Quarry, and Realism added in, with a max level cap of 30, but no prestiging details here at that point. I don't recall off the top of my head if that was something that they revealed the seasonal ranking system would be in place, or if people thought that prestige would still be coming back here for that, but regardless, we only had up to level 30. So far, that kind of seems in line with maybe what is teased here in that sort of briefing of what the beta will hold. Multiple 6v6 maps, what is detailed experiences going beyond the core 6v6, which could mean we could see things like 10v10 or upwards of whatever scale the battle maps will be, the ground war maps for Modern Warfare 2, and a host of other modes, innovations, and surprises. So far, of course, it is confirmed that we have Marina Bay Grand Prix, that map shown off the COD Champs yesterday, but there's also that report of COD pros and others having been able to play 4 maps total out of their early play sessions. Another one that apparently leaked out of that subset was one that was officially detailed as Museum. We have known about that one, officially speaking, from the reveal of Modern Warfare 2, but we ended up seeing leaked items showcase some images and things like that from from the game files of Warzone Mobile that we've talked about here before on the channel. But it would not surprise me if those 4 maps that the pros and everything that have been used as the early access 4 maps that players will play on, it wouldn't surprise me if that is the beta subset of 6v6 maps as well. But as for battle maps, if those come into the rotation, which again, I kind of assume that they will because it says there is going to be a larger experience than just 6v6 in the beta. And of course, we ended up seeing Karst River Quarry, a ground war map, added into the beta for Modern Warfare 2019. Given that we already know about 2 of those, it does make sense here that we'd see even more. Because at this time, a month out from the beta for Modern Warfare 2, I don't recall if we actually even knew of any of the ground war maps, let alone 2 of them. I definitely know we didn't know 2. Maybe we knew about Karst at that point, but absolutely expecting one of those battle maps to make it into the beta. Again, we already know about the maps of Sarif Bay and Said. Talking level cap, it of course always is low, but it usually is up to the studio and what they want to show. Modern Warfare 2019's beta level cap was 30, Cold War's was 40, Vanguard's was 30, so 30 is a solid guess, but it'll likely be incrementally increased so as to not overwhelm players who don't start day 1. So that means that if you end up getting to max level here on day 2 or whatever, you might be capped at 10 or 15 rather than 30 right away. They usually hold that max level cap until the last weekend, a couple of days left, so that players jumping on from Xbox and PC aren't immediately thrown into matches with players that are already using the best weapons that are available, the best attachments that are available, and things like that. And speaking of weaponry, that's one thing that I kind of hope that actually is different from Modern Warfare 2019's beta as opposed to what we have with this beta. If you guys were around back for the beta of Modern Warfare 2019, and you may even remember it, the beta itself actually showcased every single weapon we'd see at the full launch of the game, but only a couple of them were accessible. But you still knew about those weapons. I kind of like to have, personally at least, that little air of mystery of like, okay, what's after this? So instead of showcasing 8, 9, 10 rifles, only show us the 3 that we can end up playing with, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe that's just me personally, but that's something that, for me, I'd like to see that different. But in regards to offering that was there, we ended up having 19 weapons total. 5 rifles, the M4A1, AK-47, M13, FR556, and the Odin. We had 3 SMGs, the MP5, MP7, and AUG. We had 2 shotguns of the Model 680 and 725. We had 2 LMGs of the M91 and the SA87. We had 2 marksman rifles of the EBR-14 and Mark II carbine. We had 1 sniper rifle of the X50, 2 pistols of the 50GS and the M19, and 2 launchers of the Pila and Strela. So honestly, that's kind of where I'd expect that comparable total to be with Modern Warfare 2's beta. Maybe like reeling back in on the rifles, maybe like 4 rifles depending on where we see that level cap going and how the overall ranking system will work for one. But that and other betas have done it pretty well in my opinion recently, where you have a decent bit of what is available, but it's not the full offering, so you can't get the full experience naturally. Now, as for when all of this stuff traditionally happens, that sounds like a lot to offer up in the beta, right? Except I wouldn't expect that all at once. Traditionally, betas have rollouts, but with how much by comparison to Modern Warfare 2019's beta had, I'd kind of expect Infinity Ward to do it big, but on a rollout schedule and not everything all at once. So I'd expect to see maybe just your TDM, your domination, maybe headquarters or something like that as your main game modes for days 1 through 4 or something like that. Rollout, ground war, or the battle maps per se in weekend 2 and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing those battle maps and ground war come on the second weekend and final couple of days, just so that there's absolutely no shortage of players, given the crossplay beta and open beta would be in effect at that point. But as for new features you can expect within the beta as opposed to the last couple of years, of course, we'll have those gameplay innovations like dolphin diving with sliding. That's a new feature and mechanic we can expect to see here out of that. We'll likely see some water play, some dynamic vehicle gameplay, whereas you can like lean out of your vehicles, you can shoot off tires, you can repair vehicles, things like that that were detailed out of the reveal of Modern Warfare 2. You'll have the ledge hanging mechanics on top of all of that, so new ways to traverse vertically, but also, as we touched on yesterday, not necessarily gameplay feature-wise, but it'll be the first time we'll see cosmetics in the beta as well, because as detailed by this next blog post, it detailed that pre-orders of the Vault Edition will also end up being able to use that Red Team 141 Operator Pack and the FJX Cinder Weapon Vault as additional bonus content on top of them having it at launch. So you can use the first Weapon Vault, which looks to be a blueprint that you can change change any attachment on, and the camo and aesthetic will still stay, independent of whatever that primary attachment linked to that design is. Instead, it will transfer to every single bit of the weapon, and then of course those operators having some cosmetics along with them as well, just some uniforms and operator skins. To me, a little bit lesser important, but that's just subjective. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about here detailed for the beta in particular is that it's listed that we'll have gameplay rewards. Now, if you're looking for something to expect here, I kind of just imagine this will be another blueprint for playing in the beta. We've seen that happen every single year recently. We had in Modern Warfare 2019 the Royal Decree 50GS blueprint for playing in the alpha. You also had the Hammer 725 blueprint for playing in the beta. In Cold War, you ended up having the Mutual Animosity Milano. And then in Vanguard's beta, you had the Ratatat STG blueprint come launch, assuming you logged into the beta at all. So at the very least, I'm expecting a blueprint. I think it'd be really cool to see maybe a weapon vault, but given they detail that those are much rarer, I don't think that they'll do that. I kind of think that's one of the things we'll see exploited in terms of the shop this year, unfortunately. But anyways, outside of that, well, all we have to look forward to between now and then are further reveals coming. It's detailed from that blog post that between now and the next event, Modern Warfare 2 lead developers Infinity Ward is set to pull back the curtain on aspects of developing the game, giving you an unprecedented behind-the-scenes access to the innovations coming to the game. These series of intel drops will appear on IW Studio channels, with the first episode dropping soon. So while there's no ETA on that, soon, of course, definitely sounds within the next week or two, which sounds cool, but as for what that will entail, we'll just have to wait and see. But as for right now, that's kind of what I'm expecting here out of the beta. We know when it's going to be happening, but we don't know what's going to be happening. As a result, I kind of wanted to fill in those expectations so that, of course, if it goes above and beyond, that's awesome, but at least this is kind of your baseline for what I'd expect going into said beta, with relatively level-headed and reasonable expectations for the content, map selection, modes, weaponry, and stuff like that. But for now, that's what we're going to call it. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What are you guys hoping to see out of the beta here for Modern Warfare 2? Anything in particular? Feel free to drop your thoughts. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 2, especially as we gear up for this next event, the beta, and then the launch to follow. I'm really looking forward to keeping you guys up to date with everything, so if you'd like to stay up to date with all of it, I'd love to have you in the community. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.